Alright then guys, this is the Antlered Crown. This is the conclusion of this cycle. Going to just do this video on the setup, the fluff, my starting hand, and then the next video is going to jump straight into the quest. So you guys get to look at this while I read this, while my dog whines at invisible things out the door. The Antlered Crown. The signs of war littered the hills of Dunland. Everywhere the heroes looked, there was smoke and blood and fire. Yeah, there'd be... Sounds like that, Kaylee. Kaylee, there's no cats, so just leave it out, love. Across a wide valley, the bodies of Dunderling warriors lay slain in the dirt. Some wore the trappings of the boar tribe, others were dressed with raven feathers. As the heroes searched the battlefield for survivors, they were alerted to an approaching troop. Alright, tell you what, I'm going to open the door for you, as my dog continues her campaign of terror against me. She doesn't like walking on the lead. As the heroes searched the battlefield for the survivors, they were alerted to an approaching troop by the tromp of marching feet. Looking in the direction of the sound, they descried the banners of the Boar clan flying above an army of wild men. Striding proudly at the front was Chief Turch, wearing an antlered crown. He halted when he saw the heroes. "Well met," which apparently every character that I read for sounds like this, said the chief with a smile. "I am glad to see you again, but you cannot travel any further." I've been watching too much Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I'm just doing him as General Martok. "Our country is at war." His face was stern, but his eyes were weary. He removed the antlered crown and wiped his brow, then regarded the thing in his hand and frowned. "The antlered crown has not united the Dunderling clans as I had hoped. The leader of the Raven clan has rejected my leadership and laid claim to the crown for himself, instigating this fight." The large chieftain spat in the dirt to show his disdain. "The cowards of the Wolf clan have reserved their allegiance for the moment, but if they should ally with the Raven, I fear we will be overmatched," he explained. Then, looking at the heroes, he continued, "Yet, if the emissaries of Saruman were to ally themselves with us, the Boar clan would surely be victorious, and you would return to Isengard with the friendship of a united Dunland. What say you?" The heroes were reluctant to fight in the Dunlendings' war. Yet, even if they refused, it seemed unlikely that they would escape Dunland unscathed. Better to fight alongside the Boar clan than flee into danger, they decided, especially if it meant they might earn the friendship of the wild men for Saruman. Surely the threat of Mordor demanded that all free peoples unite together. Seeing an opportunity to strengthen the West, the heroes agreed to march with Turch and his clan. "Excellent!" bellowed the Boar chieftain. "Come, the Raven clan is still scattered among the hills. We must find their chief before he gathers the rest of his clan to him. If we defeat the chief of Ravens, the rest of his clan will submit." Chieftain Turk placed the antlered crown back on his head and signalled to his men. "We march!" So, in this quest, it is a 3-stage quest. Step 1, the battle for Dunland. Setup: the first player takes control of Chief Turch. Set the Raven Chief and Raven's Chief camp aside, out of play. Reveal 1 copy of the Dunland battlefield and make it the active location. Reveal 1 copy of the Raven war camp and add it to the staging area. Notice how that's not player dependent, so this is punishing. Create the Raven deck. See the insert. The Raven deck is basically just all the enemies from the 2 Dunland enemy decks. And set it next to the quest deck. Each player chooses 1 different enemy from the Raven deck and adds it to the staging area. Shuffle the encounter deck and the Raven deck. So let's take a look. So, Chief Turch, 1 will, 3 attack, 2 defense, 5 hit points. He's immune to player card effects. He does not exhaust to defend. If he leads play, the players lose the game. But if I get a healer out early, that's a really useful little defender. Then we set the Raven Chief out of play. Some flipping awesome art. 4 threat, 5 attack, 5 defense, 9 hit points. Woof! Cannot have attachments while Raven Chief's camp is in play. The Raven Chief cannot be damaged. When he attacks, remove 1 time counter from the active location if able. And the Raven Chief's camp, 4 threat, 9 progress, immune to player card effects, time 3, forced. After the last time counter is removed from this location, exhaust each damaged character. Place 3 time counters on this location. Ugh. Horrific. Then we've got to add a Dunland battlefield and make it the active location. So it's 3 threat, but it is the active location, so we don't need to worry too much about that. 5 progress, time 3 forced, After the last time counter is removed from this location, each player assigns X damage among characters he controls, where X is the number of cards in his hand. Ha 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 ha! The Restore deck mocks your Dunland battlefield, for I shall have no cards in my hand. So, that's a time effect we don't need to worry about. And then the Raven War Camp is in the staging area. 2 threat, 4 progress, timed 3 forced. After the last time counter is removed from this location, starting with the first player, each player draws the top card of the Raven deck and puts it into play, engage with him. Cool. And then we choose 1 enemy from the Raven deck and we add it to the staging area. We will probably not be choosing the Dunland Chieftain. So, Dunland Prowler, they're tough, so we don't really want to face them. Dunlending Bandit could be a good shout because he's pretty weak, pretty low threat, and he gets extra attack based on cards in hand. We probably won't have too many of those. On the first turn we will, but we won't really be engaging him first turn. Here, Dunland Tribesman, when revealed, each player draws a card. That would not be necessary for me right now. When we draw any number of cards, he gets extra threat. Only 1 extra threat, though. And then our other options, we've got the Berserker. After we draw any number of cards, the Dunlending Berserker makes attack. No thanks. So I feel like it needs to be Bandit or Tribesman. I'm going to go Bandit. Oh, no. Maybe I should go Tribes. Yeah, I'm going to go Tribesman now because that card drawing effect is going to be problematic when there are all sorts of cards that key up me drawing cards as a negative effect. So, I'm not quite sure how his when revealed works in terms of drawing cards in setup. So, you know what? I'm just going to err on the side of to my benefit. So, there is the starting hand. Really good because we've got 2 cards that want to be in the discard pile anyway. We've got a Will of the West, which does not want to be in the discard pile, but we've got a Weaver to shuffle it back in. We've got an Elrond's Council. Do you know what? I'm going to keep it because it's got a couple of cards that I want in the discard pile. And that's our setup. So see you for the proper video next.